FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
We started to have the Brasilia syndrome, I call it. That is city planning from high above, where you organize your objects. This is the Swedish professor, and he was saying all the time that the virtue of residential building is that it should look nice from the freeway. And I think that he's very careful here. So the planners left the ground and left the people dimension in planning and started to fly over the whole thing. It was planning from above and from a distance. Brasilia is the obvious example. It's one of the most famous modernistic cities. It was a competition in 1955. From the air, it looks smashing. It's an eagle with wings and with the government buildings. And from the helicopter, it looks really good. And down in eye level, it really looks shit. Because nobody thought about that the Brazilians would walk around in this, which was all planned from an aeroplane and from helicopters. And for the Brazilians to be happy there, they should have a helicopter, each of them, and I think they will not be happy anyway. But this is just a typical situation of all this which is done with a concern for the big scale and the intermediate scale and no concern for the people scale at all. I think this is characterizing of many, many new districts, including some by the waterfront in this city. And we've seen it being used all over the world, in China, in Dubai, whatever. We've seen this planning from the airplane being done. I call this kind of the planning, I call it bird shit architecture, that the architects fly in and fly out same day and drop some buildings here and there, which are no context. I do think that Dubai is an excellent example of this, that you don't get a city by dropping a number of towers next to each other and a freeway. Here are the usual suspects. I'm sorry about that. They look like somebody from Sydney, but they were so kind as to pose for a picture I needed for this book. And that's poor City Hall in Sydney down there. But let's not look at that. But that's the principle, that you're looking down from a big height. And this is a new town in Holland. It's a brand new plan. And you can almost see them hovering over that plan, saying that 2 oval buildings would be just smashing. Yeah, let's do 2 ovals. And then let's have some yellow cubes. Yeah, yellow cubes. Let's turn them 45 degrees. 45 degrees, that would be excellent. But how will it be for the Dutch people who are to live in this one for the next 50 years or longer?